Today on the channel, we've got the much-anticipated, long-awaited return to action figures with the AEW Jazzwares Ringside Collectible exclusive, Owen Hart.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another AEW unboxing and review. And today we've got something quite special, as we've got the return to action figures of Owen Hart. But for all your Owen Hart needs and a whole lot more, make sure you're hitting up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10%. And that's exactly what it is. Owen Hart is a Ringside Collectibles exclusive. There is going to be a modern, regular wave, in the Unmatched wave, I believe it is, of Owen Hart coming later, a couple months from now, 2-3 months. What is time? But if you want Owen Hart, for the holidays, this is the Owen Hart to get. And of course, Owen Hart has not had a figure in a lot of years. We were hoping we'd get a Jakks Classic Superstars back in the day, hoped for a Mattel Elite, hoped for other lines. We just never got there. But now the time has come. We've got AEW version of Owen Hart, which is interesting, as we know Owen has no history with AEW. But Tony Khan, the owner of AEW, has worked with Martha Hart to go through his estate to finally get representation of Owen Hart in figure form. And say what you want, obviously Owen Hart, one of the biggest tragedies in wrestling history. I'll still never forget sitting in my bedroom at my house with all my friends over. We've got every single pay-per-view, be it WWF, WCW, and of course ECW back then. And we were watching just like we normally did and just couldn't believe the news and what happened and everything. And I still drive by Kemper Arena in Kansas City fairly regularly, in work travels, business travels and stuff. And every time I go by the building, it's just one of those weird things. I'll never look at that building ever the same way. But Owen Hart finally getting an action figure, and I'm glad. All of the drama, I mean, you know there's drama for a reason. We get it. I understand it. But I'm glad we could just get some representation in action figure form, because Owen Hart's a Hall of Famer. He's a guy that deserves it. That being said, I'm not going to sit here and say Owen Hart was my favorite wrestler like a lot of people do. Oh, he was my favorite. He was the absolute favorite. That's what usually happens after, unfortunately, people die. There's a lot of people come out of the woodworks that we're such big fans. And I've said it on the channel before, wear your loves on your sleeve, because you never know when a guy like Owen Hart won't be around. Let them know it. Talk about it on social media. Put them over. Let everybody know your love for somebody. And anyways, that's the way it goes. But Owen Hart, I always respected Owen Hart. Always enjoyed his matches. I wouldn't say he was a top 10 favorite wrestler of mine, but definitely somebody I knew, somebody I respected in the wrestling industry. So with further ado, let's do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. Let's take a look at the packaging. Let's talk about it. Let's unbox it. Let's talk about it. Let's see where it goes from there. So without further ado, let's look at this Owen Hart. Very different packaging, very cool packaging here for the exclusive. And that's one of the things that is really cool about Ringside Collectibles and the exclusives they have. They get different packaging on a lot of these. The Blood and Guts ones, the Coffin Drop, this Owen Hart. There's a lot of different ones we've seen. A little bit of the bubbly. You guys know what I'm talking about. A lot of good packaging design. Definitely does feel different on here. However, it is have some similarities to the other lines. We'll explain that in a second here. But definitely different packaging, different sized packaging on this one. Owen Hart, the big name there. Beautiful background in the yellow. In Owen Hart, we really don't think of, when we close our eyes and think of Owen Hart, and I guess we'll talk about that when we get him out of the package. And then down below, Luminaries collection, King of Hearts, very nice. On the side, an old school glamour shot of Owen from way back, probably the Stampede days. On this side, Luminaries collection. And unfortunately, this is probably my biggest gripe on the packaging here, number 103. I don't like that. It shouldn't be numbered. Just leave this one unnumbered. Don't have it part of the regular line, and we've talked about that in the past, but especially with this Owen Hart one, I feel like it should just stand on its own, unnumbered, but it is what it is. And then a very cool background on the back. No cross-sell, anything like that. Owen Hart, King of Hearts. Very, very cool packaging there. So without further ado, let's get Owen out of the package here. I'm going to buy another one of these. I'm going to wait for a ringside sale or something like that, or maybe just a rainy day, and I will pick up a mint-on-card version of this Owen Hart. I like to have all the ringside collectibles loose and on card. That's what I'll do. So off to the races. See you later. Goodbye. Plastic prison for Owen Hart. There he is, looking only like an Owen Hart could look in the Jazzwares line in the end of 2022 as a ringside collectible exclusive. No blurb for this one, anything else as we saw, which is unfortunate. Really would have liked to seen a blurb, at least a little bit of something. I know a lot of this proceeds, I think all the proceeds go into the Owen Hart Foundation. You would think on the back of the box they would say, hey, to donate to the Owen Hart Foundation, or just describe it a little bit. Maybe something like that. Is what it is, though. Is what it is. And we do get an extra head. Pull this out here. We're off to the races. See you later. Goodbye. And we get accessories as far as a jacket and a title belt and sunglasses. So I have quite the shades there going on, and got this rubber band off, and we're off to the races here. Let's break this down a little bit, and let's start with the accessory of the belt. Now, this is a very, very generic-looking belt here. That is a miss a little bit on the packaging here to say, hey, what belt is this? There's a lot of belt connoisseurs and aficionados out there. I wouldn't say I'm an aficionado, but I think I know enough to be dangerous in my title belts. And I can't really tell you, is this the Stampede North American title? I believe it's a Stampede title belt, but it doesn't list that anywhere, and maybe that's legal reasons. Maybe WWE owns the Stampede name as Results to Wrestling. I'm not exactly sure. But it is a cool kind of one-off title belt here in black. Not a lot going on, though. Not a lot of decor, not a lot of recognizable things, a lot of empty plates on it. But it is your typical Jazzwares belt outside of that, so Owen does have that belt with him. We also get sunglasses with Owen Hart, which is really cool. Always nice to get some shades. And this is a throwback Owen Hart. And I said that in the package. When we think of Owen Hart, we think of his WWE, WWF run, of course. Maybe some people think of the Blue Blazer. I remember the Blue Blazer. That was probably one of the first times I ever saw Owen Hart as a really small kid as the Blue Blazer. But known as Brett's brother, usually kind of coordinating in the colors, the pink and black attack. This is a little bit different. This isn't exactly, and that once again goes to legal issues and all that. It would be nice if they could just mend fences and say, you know, do what you want. Make your own figures. It's going to charity. Who cares? Let's put him in what the fans want. Maybe that'll happen in the future. We'll see. But I guess we would call this like a really big throwback Owen Hart to the Stampede days, basically, is what we get here. But we do get the sunglasses. Sunglasses are removable, and I like that he's got indentions in the side of the head so you can stick these glasses in. You know, we see a lot of action figures where the glasses just don't stay. They get lost, whatever. These will stay in the head there, so I do like that. He does come with a nice jacket here, nice soft goods jacket. Got the silver, got the, it's kind of like, almost like a baseball jersey jacket, or what are those, a Letterman's jacket, varsity jacket, is that what it is? It's got the pockets on the side, got the striping here on the back. He's got the heart, says Owen Hart, looking really good. Velcro's in the front. Now, the reason I'm unboxing this, if you saw weekly purchases or you see it soon, I had a bunch of stuff come this week, but I'm nervous about staining. We've seen a lot of staining from action figures from Jazzwares this year. I wanted to get this out of the package as soon as possible to check for staining on this one, so I'm going to remove it. We're going to see. Hopefully we're not disappointed. Hopefully no staining. Let's get down to business here. Let's see what's going on. Get Owen out of the package, and I think I'm happy to report no staining on this one. I believe that this is a very good quality jacket too, so maybe they've changed things up a little bit. I'm not exactly sure, but this does have a nice stretch feel to it, a nice black feel or black look to it with the silver. Very, very good, and I don't think I have any staining. Oh, I take it back. Just starting a little bit on the shoulders. You can see where it's just starting. So if you're on the fence of getting this Owen Hart and you want him loose, order immediately from Ringside. The faster you get these and the faster you get them out of the package, the less staining you're going to have. But if you wait 6 months from now, you pick this up, pretty sure he's going to be stained all the way through. And that is disappointing. That is one of the biggest gripes in action figures, specifically wrestling action figures for me in this day and age, is we shouldn't have staining. We should not have staining on our action figures. Unexcusable. Unexcusable there. But boy, oh boy, it does feel like Owen Hart in hand. This is very good Owen Hart body style. Let's start with the body style here, and let's start with the articulation. Let's get that over with. The arms go all the way around, bicep cut side to side, double jointed elbows, hands back and forth. Hands, of course, removable, but no extra hands with this figure, which is interesting. So no fists for Owen Hart. He's not going to punch anybody in the face. Head is removable, head side to side, back and forth, up and down. Good up and down on him. Good down, I should say. Up is limited by the hair. You got the hula hoop going on. You got the waist articulation. You got the big old splits right here. You got a thigh cut, double jointed knees, boot cut, and then ankles back and forth, up and down. You know, you take this head off, this body style would be perfect for a beautiful Bobby Eaton. This looks like, it almost looks like from afar you could see this, and if you had to squint your eyes, if I didn't have my contacts in, I'd say, is that beautiful Bobby Eaton? You paint this thing blue. I mean, you could get some Midnight Express action going out of this one, so hopefully one day we do get that. But a good body, good posability, everything else. Now, the Owen Hart head, I've been screaming about this pretty much all year on the channel, that for whatever reason, there's a disconnect between the Glamour Shot pictures from AEW Jazzwares and the final product in hand. Is very bird-like, very beak-like in the nose-face department, and this one in the Glamour Shots. But in hand, it just comes together a lot better. It looks a lot better in hand. I like the looks of this head. I wouldn't say I love the head. I'm not going to say I love the head. But I do think this looks like Owen Hart enough. I think if somebody gave me this head, I might be puzzled because we haven't had an Owen Hart figure in forever. So maybe I wouldn't assume Owen Hart. But I think putting it all together, it does feel like Owen Hart. This does feel like Owen Hart. And I got to feel there's going to be a lot of custom Owen Hart figures. People using Mattel Brett bodies, things like that with these Owen heads to get the Owen Hart they're looking for. But I think this head is good enough. This head is good enough. Is it perfect? No. Very rarely do we get things that are perfect. But I do think this is close enough. I'm going to pop this head off, and I'm going to put the other head on. Now, this one seems a little bit younger Owen Hart. He's got that very classic 80s headband going on, kind of the barbershop style headband. And this one I think looks a little bit more Owen Hart. This looks like Owen Hart from Stampede days, not WWE, WWF, Stampede days. And I think between the two head sculpts, I do like this one a little bit better. And I'll probably end up using this one. This Owen Hart's tough. This is one of those ones that's really a 2-in-1. You display one with one head and the glasses on and maybe the coat, and then the other one in his wrestling gear with this head. You really could do that. So if you're waiting for a deal, waiting to do that, that might be a way to go on this one. But definitely between the two ways to go, this is the head to use. This one is better than the other one. Looks like Owen all day. They both do look like Owen to me. Now that's one man's opinion, one reviewer's opinion. But that's how I do feel on this one. Does he fit on a ringside collectible Jazzware stand? Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10%, as I always say. Fits like a glove, looking really good there. Just a good representation of the time frame they're trying to get Owen Hart. Yes, there's a lot of people complaining, this isn't the Owen Hart we wanted. I get that, but we got to remember there's legal issues in the old business step back with the business hat on. But this Owen in the old school Stampede type gear, the stars, the lightning bolts, very cool throwback figure, great for the Luminaries collection, which this is a part of, apparently. We'll see what the future brings in future Owen Harts. I would love to figure out a way between the WWE and AEW to figure out and say, hey, this is all for charity. We all win with the charity. Let's do that. I got to think there could be discussions going on that could work, but I don't believe Martha Hart wants anything to do with the WWE, and that's probably what really, at the end of the day, limits all that. But there's got to be a way to get classic Owen Hart somehow, some way. But there he is right there. I did grab a Bret Hart. What is this, WrestleMania 10 Bret Hart? Something like that. So you can kind of see, scaling-wise, they go together just fine. Everybody needs some Bret Hart and Owen Harts in their collection. Some kind of representation. It's been a heck of a long time since we've seen old Owen Hart. I grabbed a couple of my favorite ones over the years. Ooh, look at that. Got him to stand even. Many bone crunchers, many repaints in this one, but this is probably the classic Owen Hart. When I close my eyes and think of action figures for Owen Hart, I think of the bone crunchers like this. Of course, you got the Jeff Jarrett, Owen Hart mashup figures back in the day. And then you can't forget a sleeper Owen Hart figure way back in the day in the old Hasbro line. So a sleeper Owen Hart there. Not a lot of representations of Owen Hart. Of course, there's different bone crunchers. You got a Micro Brawler. I remember they had those about a year ago. But for a big of a star as Owen Hart was, part of the Hart family dynasty, you think by this time, in this day and age, we'd have a heck of a lot more figures. Obviously, if the tragedy didn't happen, we'd be swimming in Owen Hart figures at this point. You know we would be. But I like what we got here. Yes, the staining is a big worry. And yes, it's not the Owen Hart outfit we really, really wanted, but I'm hoping, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, one day we will get there. But it's cool for what it is. A couple of minor gripes, but I think it's worth picking up. Everybody needs some Owen Hart in their collection, and I love throwback figures too, so I love more classic superstars inspired, and that's kind of what this Owen Hart feels like at the end of the day. But what say you guys out there in YouTube land? You picking this Owen Hart up? You playing the long game? You going to wait for this one, get the other one that's coming out fairly soon, or are you going to hope and keep the fingers crossed that we get a more traditional Owen Hart in the future? Let me know your comments in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell as we got videos every single day and then some. Don't forget about the Patreon for early access to videos like this, bonus content, exclusive content, Q&As, giveaways, you name it. It's all over there on the old Patreon channel. And then don't forget Pro Wrestling Tees. You can also support the channel over there. And Sir Paul64 is where you'll find me on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for the late, great Owen Hart, I am Kyle. And I will see you guys all real soon.